Everyone is talking about the new ChatGPT Images 2.0, but instead of doing the usual overview, I wanted to test it on the hardest prompts I know. Not easy prompts, not just a cinematic portrait. I mean the prompts that usually expose where the image models still break. Readable text, multi-panel layouts, character consistency, glass and reflections, complex perspective, and mixed styles. And to make it fair, I use the exact same prompts in Nano Banana 2 as well. One more thing before we start, I didn't judge these myself. I fed every image to cloud, gave it the exact criteria for each test and let it score them blind. Prompt accuracy, visual quality, usability, how much fixing the result would need. I wanted to remove my own bias as much as possible, so the verdicts you're about to see, that's AI judging AI. First, dense readable text. This is one of the fastest ways to expose whether an image model is actually useful for design heavy content. What I'm looking for here is spelling, readability, hierarchy, and whether the layout feels intentional. Both tools got the spelling right, no typos, clean fonts, but once you look at the layout, ChatGPT pulls ahead. It actually made design decisions. The headline stacks and fills the space. There's two column split, divider lines, a footer with an icon. It looks like something you'd use. Nano Banana just flowed the text top to bottom. The same information but not structure. No hierarchy, no design intent. For dense text work, ChatGPT wins this one. Next, multi-panel ad layout. This test is harder because the model has to do more than create one nice image. It has to understand structure, product consistency, spacing, layout, and readable design elements all at once. Nano Banana gets the structure right. 4 panels numbered, consistent product across all of them, a branded footer, and subcopy under each feature. It looks like an actual campaign page. ChatGPT also nails the layout, but the execution is cleaner and more minimal. The feature panel is simpler, the lifestyle shot feels more Apple adjacent, and the overall palette is more cohesive. Both are genuinely usable here. But if I'm handling this to a client, I'm picking ChatGPT. It needs less fixing. Character consistency is where workflows matter as much as results. With ChatGPT, I uploaded one reference and kept everything in the same chat. And honestly, it holds up. The face, the hair, the skin tone stay recognizably the same person across all 3 scenes. Nano Banana gets close on identity too, but to achieve that I had to re-upload the original reference manually each time, but more steps, more friction, and the results still drift slightly more than ChatGPT. So this one goes to ChatGPT, better consistency and much simpler workflow to get there. Next up, transparent materials are one of the hardest things to fake in AI generation. Nano Banana looks good at first glance. Warm scene, nice condensation on the glass, steam coming off the spout. But look at the water inside. It's more of a rendered approximation. The boiling motion feels a bit staged and the light passing through the glass doesn't fully convince. ChatGPT takes this to another level. The caustic light patterns on the surface underneath, the individual bubbles rising through the water, the steam curling in 2 directions of the open top, it feels physically real, like someone actually photographed this. For premium product realism and material accuracy, ChatGPT wins this round. Test 5. Complex perspective is about more than just a wide-angle shot. The model has to understand foreground, midground, and background, and make all 3 feel like they belong in the same world. Both images nail the basic composition. Bike wheel up front, the woman crossing in the middle, city stretching into the distance. Both when you look at the spatial coherence, Nano Banana edges ahead. The scene feels like a real place, the depth is precise, the signage reads correctly, and the wet street reflections anchor everything to the ground. ChatGPT gives you a more cinematic, dramatic version. The mood is gorgeous, but it leans into atmosphere over accuracy. For this test, scene coherence and perspective, Nano Banana takes it. The last test. Mixed style composition. This is the hardest one to judge because it's subjective. I'm looking for a blend of fashion realism, graphic design, and surreal elements that still feels intentional. One thing worth mentioning, ChatGPT used the same model from earlier in the chat automatically. That's actually a nice bonus for workflow, but let's judge the image itself. ChatGPT goes cleaner and more refined. The glass panel, the chrome sphere, the large typographic initials, it's elegant, but it stays close to premium fashion editorial. It doesn't really push into mixed territory. Nano Banana takes more risk. The geometric grid overlay, the floating chrome sphere, the frosted panel, the vertical sidebar text. It's layered, it's intentional, and it actually feels like a different visual language blended together. For this test, Nano Banana wins. It understood the brief better. So after putting both tools through the hardest prompts I know, here is my honest takeaway. ChatGPT Images 2.0 wins this one. 4 out of 6 tests, text layout, art structure, character consistency, and material realism is the more reliable tool for actual creator work. Less friction, better output on the things that matter most day to day. Nano Banana 2 isn't out of the picture though. It won on complex perspective and mixed style composition. The two tests that require the most creative thinking. If your work lives in that space, it genuinely surprises you. But if I had to pick one tool to build a content workflow around right now, it's ChatGPT Images 2.0. It's not about one replacing the other, it's about knowing which one fits the work you actually make. If you want, I can do part 2 and test even harder prompts, thumbnails, product ads, AI influencer consistency, or image editing. Subscribe for more AI content like this.